Hey everyone, we just had a question about HTML and image maps and what they are. So we're just going to go through an example and kind of figure out what the HTML map does and what it is. So first thing I would do, I'm just going to Google it. W3 Schools is your friend. So I'm going to look at what an HTML map is and kind of see what it's all about. So an HTML map, W3 Schools, you can always go there and just kind of get, whenever you're confused or whenever you're not sure exactly what this HTML tag is or what attributes it has, you can always look it up. A lot of times it'll take you to W3 Schools. An image map, you can see, is basically a map that can be tagged to an image, which can define areas of the image that you can click on. So a lot of the times at W3 Schools, I usually go right to try it yourself and kind of see what one of these things does. You can see the HTML code here and see what it does here. We have a map that is defined right here. And you can see that there's an image defined right here, and in the attribute it says use map. It has to start with a hashtag work map, and then the map name is work map, so that this map is being applied to this image right here, which is over here. And you can see there are three different hotspots or three different areas that are defined on the image. And if we look through this, you can see we create a rectangle, a second rectangle, and a circle. The first rectangle has these coordinates 34, 44, 270, 350. You know, what does that mean? And then it goes to a computer.html. HTM. So you can see when I hover over this image, it's actually clickable. If I go over here, I'm actually not in a hotspot right now, so there's nothing I can click. But when I hover over this, it is activating this href right here, which is computer.htm, because it's within this region of the image. If I click on it, I get to that website. And then there's another hotspot here. There's another rectangle for the phone. So if I hover over and click on phone, you can see it goes to another link. And same thing with coffee. The coffee uses a circle shape there. Okay. So that's what a image map does. It allows you to click on certain areas of an image that you want to define that go to different websites or different URLs. So we're just going to come up with an example and kind of figure that out as well. Also explaining what these coordinates are. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab an image from Google. And I'm just going to pick something with football here because that's the first thing that came to my mind. And let's see here. I am going to pick an image here. And I am going to copy this image address so we can use this little NFC North image to map it out and try different things over it. Okay, so I just copied the image address. You could also download the image and save it locally to your folder. So I'm going to go in here and let's create. First of all, I'm going to put the image into my HTML. So I'm going to go in the body tag. And let's put this in here. So image src. I'm going to paste in that source, which I just got. I'm just going to crop out this little part right here, so it's just a little PNG file. So I have the image source. And we can put in the map later. Okay, so I should have an image here. If I look at it, if I refresh this, here's my web page right now. It's kind of a massive image right now. It's kind of a big thing, which is okay. You can just use that. And then we want to create a map that goes along with it. So underneath there, let's say we're going to make a map tag. And we're going to create a name for it. And let's just say, and this has to kind of start with, I'm going to say map name hashtag and say NFC North, something like that. And inside here, I'm going to create different areas. So I'm going to create an area. One of the attributes is a shape. and I have to say whether it's going to be if I look back at W3 schools, I have different options to do here. I can do a rectangle, a circle, or a polygon, which is basically kind of pretty much anything I want. I'm just going to use a rectangle to start. So let's go back here. This is going to be rectangle, and put in my coordinates. I got to put some coordinates in there, and then after that I can put in where I want it to link to. All right, I got to put in where's it going to go after, you know, I click on that area. So I'm going to leave it like that, and let's just say I finish off my map. Oh, there it is for me. So there's really nothing defined in here. This map is not really filled in, but we've created an HTML map for this. Now in the image, if I want to use this map, then in the image tag, I'm going to add an attribute to that called use map, and I'm going to put in the name of my map here. So I'm going to put hashtag and NFC North right there. So now we should have that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our map here. You can see I have the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings. And so let's say I want to, if I click on one of these logos, I want to go to a certain, I don't know, page. I can go to the Chicago Bears page or something like that. So you might ask yourself, well, how am I going to figure out, let's say I want to go Chicago Bears or something like that. I want to just isolate this little image right here. So if they click on it, it goes to a page. How do I get those coordinates? Well, one basic thing you could do is just download the image. So I've already downloaded this image, but I'm going to right click, save image as, get it to my hard drive, and I don't know, save it again. And what you want to do is, let's just try to open this thing. It's opening something. I might need to go to my downloads folder, so I'm going to show it in the folder. If I had downloaded this thing like 3 times, I'm going to right click this and open with Paint. Just very basic image editor on Windows, Paint. That's going to open up within Paint. Now if you notice, all I'm going to do is look at the coordinates here. I'm just scrolling around. You can see on the bottom left here, right where my cursor is right now, you can see the coordinates. So how coordinates work in this mapping is that on the upper left corner is going to be the coordinate 0, 0. 0, 0. Think of like an X and Y axis in like math class or something like that. And as I go to the right, then the X coordinate is going to increase. So if you look at the bottom left there, it's increasing. The X is going to 500, 600, 700, 800. And if I go down, then the Y coordinate is increasing. Look on the bottom left there, it's at 200, 300, 400, 500. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a rectangle. So I'm going to tell the HTML attribute those coordinates. I'm going to say the top left of the rectangle that I want to select would be like right here. And the bottom right of my rectangle is going to be about right here. Think about clicking and dragging to a rectangle. Okay, we can define a rectangle with its top left coordinate and its bottom right coordinate. So I'm just going to stay, let's just say like about right here. Okay, my cursor's right there. I look at the coordinates and it says 135, 87. 135, 87. Well, if I go back to my HTML, let's go back over here, and I put in the coordinates, that would be the first point that I'm going to put, 135, comma, 87. So, I did that wrong. I put that in wrong. Let's try that again. 135, 135 and 805. 135, 805. Let's try that again. 135 and 805. Okay, so that would be the upper left point that I just defined. Now if I go to the bottom right of the rectangle, so somewhere over here-ish, okay, I'm just going to pick up the coordinates about. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it looks like, 340 and, let's say 340 and 930. We go back here, I'm going to put the second point in there, 340, comma, and then 940. So what these coordinates attribute want is it wants the x and y of the first point right here, 135, 805, and then the second point, which would be the bottom right of the rectangle, which would be 340 and 940, about for my picture. Okay, so we're going to test that out, but then we need a little place for it to go. So let's just say Chicago Bears. Let's just have it go to the Chicago Bears website, chicagobears.com. Perfect. I'm going to copy this link address, and then in the href here, I'm just going to paste that in so it goes to a Chicago Bears website. I'm going to go ahead and run this, and I'm going to refresh my page, which I think it just refreshed. But now you can see, okay, as I hover over, once I go to this area right here, see how my cursor changed, and I'm entering that rectangular hotspot right here, which is, you can kind of see where it is. It's this right here, and it looks like it's behaving the way I want it to. Anywhere where I click in this region, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and you can see it goes to chicagobears.com, which is exactly what I wanted there, right? So that's how the hotspot works. I can create as many of these things as I want to go to different areas of my image. Okay, so if I look back on my image, let's say I want to do, can't tell who all these players are. I was going to say that was going to be Aaron Rodgers, but that looks like Jordan Love, new quarterback, Green Bay. So, you know, let's say I want to create another hotspot. Like if I click on this, like the head of Jordan Love, then it would take me to another website. Well, I could say, well, this is kind of like a circle. I'm just going to make an area here. I won't make a rectangle this time. I'll create a little hotspot here with a circle. And if we go back to W3 schools, we can see how a circle works. It's pretty straightforward. A circle, first we have to locate the center of the circle. We have to find the coordinates of the center of the circle. And then also figure out the radius of the circle. So we're going to go ahead and try that. Let's go back here, and I'm going to create a new area. So I'm going to say area shape this time equals circle, and I'm going to put coordinates in there. I got to fill that in. I'm going to put an href somewhere. I'll figure that out later. And let's go ahead and figure out these coordinates. So I'm going to bring back Paint Up, and so I'm going to isolate this little image right here. I'm going to approximate where the center of this face is, just to give it a try. And you can see my cursor is about right there. I'm going to say at 11, you might have to write these things down. 1130, I'm going to say 1135 and about 210. 1135 and 210 is the center of this Jordan Love head here. 1135 and 210. So I'm going to put that in here as 1135 and 210. And then the next number has to be the radius of that circle. Okay, well, this isn't going to be perfect. Of course, that, you know, Jordan Love's head is not a perfect circle with a helmet on it. So, but I'm just going to look here, and I'm going to notice the changes. So 1135 is where my cursor is right now. 1135, okay? And I'm just going to go to the right here. So if I scroll to the right, not scroll, but move my mouse to the right, you know, the edge of the helmet is about, maybe about 1200, okay? So well, then how much did I move there? I went from 1135-ish to about 1200, so that would be about 65 pixels, maybe, right? 65 pixels. And again, this is kind of ballparking it because the area that you're making is not going to be perfect. I might just test that out, 65 pixels, and just kind of see if that works. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to say my radius is 65 pixels. Oh, I can see that I put the coordinates in the wrong attribute. So let me go ahead and cut these out and put it into the coordinates. And then, you know what? Let's find the Jordan Love page. So maybe let's just do Wikipedia, Jordan Love is the quarterback there, and maybe we'll just go ahead and link to the Jordan Love Wikipedia page here. So I'm going to copy this little Wikipedia page, and we're going to put that as the href right there. Okay, so I'm going to run this. Let's go ahead and refresh, and let's take a look. So if I scroll over to Jordan Love's head, you can see that it changes to a cursor that I can click, and you can see when I'm scrolling around here, I can click on this. You can kind of test out the boundaries here. There, it just went off. That's exactly where I thought it was going to go off, like right now it's not clickable. If I go up from that, oh, it stopped right there, right? Because his head's not a perfect circle, of course. You can kind of see where the edges are. It's not perfect by any means here, but that's okay. You can always alter and change it if you really wanted to. If I click on that hotspot, it's then going to take me to this page, and I can go back. I still have my hotspot over here. And basically we're going to create this map, and I can put as much stuff as I want in here. I can create as many areas as I want for users to click, and that's really all a image map is in HTML. One thing to remember is that when you name the map, you do need to start it with a hashtag. So if you don't name your map right here with a hashtag, you're going to have some problems here. So for example, map name here actually doesn't need, I don't actually need to have the hash there. I can just say NFC North, and this would work fine. If I test it out, you can see that I still have this clickable region here. It still works. If I were to get rid of this hashtag right there, and I just were to say use map and say NFC North, which seems reasonable, and then name NFC North here, and I run that code, and let me just refresh it. Now it doesn't work, right? It doesn't, actually doesn't work, and I ran into this problem with the student before where we didn't know why exactly it wasn't working, but suppose I did not look at the documentation close enough, because when you name it, it does say you need to start it with a hashtag. The use map attribute needs to start with a hashtag there. Let me find where it says that. Right there. Right here. Use map value starts with a hashtag followed by the name of the map. Okay, that's one thing you want to make sure of. Put that hashtag back in there. I could leave it like this, and everything's going to work fine here. I can click on Jordan Love, and I can click on Chicago, and create as many of these things as I want. I hope that video helps you.